Countdown is a year-long series that spans the entire DC universe and takes in virtually every character of not only that universe, but many other universes as well. First issue is currently on the stands, and that sets up a lot of the elements that will play through the series. And we got our first look at a number of the characters that will continue through the series, but not all of them. We're very heavy on Jason Todd in the first issue, and he is currently, if not a villain in the DC universe, a vigilante in the DC universe. Definitely a character who is under a cloud, who not a lot of other heroes trust, and but neither do a lot of the villains, because he's just out there operating on his own as sort of a loose cannon. So a lot of what happens in Countdown will be reflective of what goes on with him, and from the point of view of this very, very conflicted character. Countdown number 51 is an introduction to him and kind of his mindset. We also meet briefly Mary Marvel, who is also going through a conflict of her own. She has been stripped of her powers. She now has no purpose in the DC universe, and she's almost kind of like a power junkie, willing to do anything to get those Shazam powers back again, and because her entire identity has been based around the powers. What does she do without them? Does she, can she even exist without those powers? We also meet, who else do we meet in the first issue? We meet Darkseid, the Lord of Apocalypse, who seems to be behind the scenes motivating things, or at least checking in on the destinies of these heroes. And he's interested in not only the key players like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, but the smallest, tiniest players in the DC universe, because as he said, each one has a purpose, each one has a meaning, and what happens to one will ultimately affect them all. It's not really a story sequel, it's more it's merely just another year-long event, because there's very little in Countdown that's reflective of 52. Actually, there are some elements and some characters that carry over, but the 52 story is mostly ended. There will be other characters, because there were so many characters in 52, many of the same characters will show up in Countdown, but that story is really closed. There are a few dangling loose ends, and some things do filter into it, but it's not really going to be a continuation of 52. It's another sequence of events, and the focus is primarily on another group of heroes and villains. I'm working on Countdown with a team of 5 terrific writers: Sean McKeever, Adam Beecham, Tony Bedard, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Justin Gray. And we work in shifts where I will work with them plotting the direction of the series, work out a general storyline for each issue. They will take it, write a script, and I'll get another writer started. So we always have a script in the works. We always have one coming in. Those guys are handling the bulk of the day-to-day writing on the series. I'm overseeing where we're going with it, looking for continuity errors, looking for ways to punch up the dialogue, and also working with Keith Giffen, who's basically breaking every issue in storyboard. And he's a tremendous asset in that he can take, the scripts, cut them up, play them for maximum action, and really do a spectacular job with it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a fabulous year-long trip through the DC universe. You're going to see a lot of the key players of the DCU, some characters who haven't been around for a while or featured in prominent roles, and I think you're really going to be in for a good time. It's a nice mix of characters and a nice mix of personalities and great story events. And there are going to be some real surprises and a lot of fun. It's really going to be the spine of the DC universe for the next year. And you're going to find a lot of elements and stories feeding in and out of Countdown.